Swipe through social media right now, and you will eventually stumble across viral videos making an impossible promise: a complete 100% cure for cancer in exactly 24 hours. These videos suggest that simple, hidden remedies are the answer. Drink papaya leaf tea, take specific herbal supplements, or swallow baking soda mixtures to completely clear their bodies of the disease overnight. To see what happens when people listen to this advice, look at the recent case of a 59-year-old woman in Vietnam. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, a condition with survival rates over 70% when properly treated. She went through 5 successful rounds of chemotherapy and was scheduled for a curative surgery. But instead of continuing her medical care, she abandoned her treatment plan to drink papaya leaf tea based on a protocol she found online. 3 months later, the tumor had completely taken over her chest and spread to her other breast. Tragically, the aggressive disease quickly metastasized into her lungs, pushing her condition far past the point of medical recovery. These viral remedies are nothing but predatory traps. They exploit the fear and urgency of a diagnosis, pushing patients away from highly effective treatments until it is too late to save them. This image shows what a solid tumor actually looks like under a microscope. It is a dense, chaotic structure, which makes the idea of clearing it out in a single day physically impossible. This model represents a single solid tumor just 5 centimeters across. Inside that small sphere, there are roughly 125 billion individual cancer cells, and those cells are rarely doing the same thing at the same time. Chemotherapy drugs are designed to target cells that are actively dividing, but at any given moment, only about 5 to 30% of a tumor's cells are in that active, vulnerable state. If you apply a treatment for a strict 24-hour window, the vast majority of the tumor, up to 95% of it, will simply survive the exposure because the cells weren't in the correct phase of their cycle. Large tumors also develop necrotic, dead cores where blood flow is extremely poor. Intravenous drugs or oral compounds cannot physically penetrate deep into those areas to reach every cell in just one day. Forcing the instant death and systemic clearance of 125 billion cells across the body in 24 hours would require a highly toxic chemical event. The biological debris alone would trigger massive organ failure. Scammers often point to lab studies to back up their claims. It is entirely true that you can kill cancer cells in a petri dish in 24 hours using various compounds. But an isolated dish has no blood supply, no dense tissue barriers, and no immune system to navigate. But the most convincing piece of evidence scammers use comes from a real, heavily reported clinical trial at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. The published results stated exactly what the viral videos claim. 100% of the patients in the trial saw their cancer completely disappear. What the scammers intentionally leave out is how it happened. The trial focused strictly on a very rare genetic subset of early-stage rectal cancer, and the patients received heavy intravenous infusions of an immunotherapy drug every 3 weeks for 6 full months. Online grifters strip away the 6-month timeline and the specific genetics to sell their own highly dangerous, unregulated products. In some cases, patients are convinced to buy Miracle Mineral Solution, which is literally industrial bleach. These online sellers high-tack the vocabulary of real scientific achievements to make their toxic, profitable alternatives sound credible. If you walk into an oncology clinic today, the first 24 hours are not spent miraculously curing the disease. That time is spent conducting biopsies, determining the exact stage of the cells, and planning a methodical, targeted medical response. That planning often leads to therapies that accomplish what sounds like science fiction. CAR T-cell therapy, for example, involves extracting a patient's own immune cells, genetically engineering them to hunt the specific tumor, and infusing them back into the bloodstream. It is a profound medical achievement, but it unfolds over weeks and months. The body needs that time to slowly unblock its natural defenses and safely clear out the dying cells without overwhelming the kidneys and liver. This rigorous, time-intensive approach is working. Over the last 3 decades, cancer mortality rates in the United States have dropped by more than 33%. That drop didn't happen because of a secret overnight remedy hidden on social media. Surviving this disease requires turning away from the false comfort of an instant fix and leaning entirely on the proven, deliberate pace of modern medicine.
I am Fiana, and you are watching the Roadmap channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like. See you soon.